Dave Birkett here with Jeff Seidel at U.S. Bank Stadium. Detroit Lions suffered a heartbreaking 28-24 loss to the Minnesota Vikings today, Jeff. First video in a while for us in person, but I guess we'll start knocking these out for you, the viewer, here again. And what a way to start. One that the Lions had let go, 10-point lead in the fourth quarter against a pretty good Vikings team, one that I think they outplayed much of the game. And in the end, it comes down to aggressive Dan Campbell's decision to be conservative. It goes against Boston. Yeah.
They took this lead because of they're going for it on fourth down. Three times on two drives, they went for it on fourth down 3 times and they converted all. It was affecting even how they're approaching third down. They're going, no, let's just get closer to 6 and we'll convert. And then when it came down to it, when he had to make the decision, he took the ball away from his offense. Kick failed. Vikings score. Lions lose.
3 plays later, the Vikings went down and scored. They started with the ball at the 44-yard line, so short field to work with after a missed 54-yard field goal. Dan Campbell said he regretted the decision to kick after the game. He said he told his team as much. He said he felt like he cost them a win. Give him credit for falling on the sword. I mean, I think that's, look, it's disarming a little bit when somebody comes in and says it's my fault, right? It's tough to be critical in that regard, but certainly he deserves a lot of the blame for what happened here.
And it was bizarre because here's a guy who was gambling all day long.
Yeah.
And the only reason he knows they're outmanned, or I mean, he knows they have to do that to win these kinds of games.
That's what he said. That's why he said they were aggressive.
And then when it came to the moment, I don't understand. And I mean, I know he said he regretted it, but taking a 6-point lead against an offense that was moving the ball like that.
Yeah.
And it seemed inevitable.
We were talking about it in the press box during the timeout. One reporter who shall remain nameless, is not on this screen here, said, hey, am I the only one who thinks they should kick? Remember, I said that really probably are, because I thought they should go for it. Certainly there is an argument to be made for pooch punting. I mean, the win probabilities, kicking the field goal was the third highest chance that the Lions had for winning after the pooch punt and after the going for it. So
and it's a game of checker, it's a game of chess, because it wasn't just that gamble, it was the gamble the series before where they went for it and they failed. And I understood it was the same scenario. I understood that, but now looking back, incredible hindsight. You kicked the goal there, you kicked the field goal, maybe assuming you make it, you're in a different situation, but that's not what happened. You have to deal with what you have.
I think there were 2 plays really that were weighing on Campbell's mind, maybe when he decided to kick that 3rd and 1 early in the fourth quarter. They have the ball down at this end of the field behind me over here, and they throw a long pass. There's about 10.5 minutes left. They don't connect on that. Clock stops. They have to punt. But he was aggressive, and he was aggressive like he was all game. It backfired. Next series, 4th and 1, they go for it. Jamal Williams stopped for no gain. They didn't really have a shot on that play. It just wasn't blocked up super well. Stopped. He's aggressive when they go for it. Then it comes time to be aggressive again, and he regrets it. And I think you read. I didn't read your column yet because we're shooting this right after me. But I think you read he can't stop being aggressive. And I agree 100%. He has to continue being aggressive. That's when he and this Lions team are at their best.
And at some points, it's going to fail. Yeah. Like at midfield one time, and you can say, boy, why are you going for it on 4th down? It gave them a short field. They scored a touchdown. I can live with that. It was 4th and 1. It was a throw to Hawkinson, I believe. He just missed him. I understand that. You can live with, if you're going to gamble, you're going to live with both sides of it.
Listen, it's easy to be critical when people are proactive in going for things, because there's so much more data, right? You see the mistakes that they made when it doesn't work out. And the opposite is true, right? When somebody's a little more conservative and they punt, it's, well, the other team made some plays to win. Yeah. So no, I've said this really since last year when the Lions set an NFL record for 4th down attempts, that I like the aggressive nature of Dan Campbell in this team, and I hope they keep it up. Today, it backfired because they won.
I know there's no moral victories, but it shouldn't be lost that once again they played without 2 guards. They lost a safety early in the game. Swift is banged up even more than
shoulder and an ankle. Yep.
So these guys are not healthy, and they're still hanging right there. And I think that should be encouraging. I'm not for moral victories, but that is encouraging.
No, let's end it on that, because you're right. I mean, Swift was very limited today. Amon-Ra St. Brown hurt his ankle, had to get retaped. Josh Reynolds was walking around the locker room with his ankle taped afterwards. He said it's a low ankle sprain, so nothing, super significant. They're without a couple guards. Obviously they have a lot of injuries that they're dealing with.
And a kicker.
Defensively, right? Tracy Walker, potential Achilles tendon injury today. So lots of things that they were dealing with. That Walker injury hurt them at the end. But, they did go on the road and play a good game against, one of the, let's call it, 4 best teams on their schedule, maybe, right? Maybe 4 or 5 best teams. I mean, after the Bills and the Eagles and the Packers, and maybe the Dolphins are in there too. So I think there are some good things to take from this. And ultimately at 1-2, I still think the Lions are in a pretty good shot right now, or a pretty good spot right now as they head into week 4 against the Seattle Seahawks.
But the thing that stings is this was a wasted opportunity.
Absolutely.
And when you look at the next couple of games and where they could have been standing with a win on the road, that's the part that hurts the most.
Division game, they would have been tied for first place in the NFC North had they won. To let one slip out of their grasp, it's not going to be one that they look. The NFL is things are so close here, right? There are so many 1-score games, right? And to let one slip away in the fashion that they did, it's not one that the Lions will soon forget. That'll do it for us here at US Bank Stadium. For Jeff Seidel, I'm Dave Birkett. Join us next week at Ford Field. I don't know if it'll be you or Sean or Carlos or whoever is there. I will be there next week at Ford Field. Another one. It's New England, you and me, back together again in the Foxborough area. That'll do it for us. US Bank Stadium. Dave Birkett, Jeff Seidel, Freak.com.